1% better each day compounds to 37 times in a year. Not a slogan, a mechanism. And by year's end, 1% worse each day leaves you at nearly zero. Most people chase big goals on raw willpower, then quit when results crawl. Atomic Habits, 30 million copies sold, 60+ languages, argues tiny systems beat motivation. Here's the exact engine drawn in our own diagrams. Start with the maths. Multiply 1.01 by itself 365 times, and you land near 37. Do the reverse, 0.99 to the 365th power, and you crater towards zero. That's the whole promise in two curves. Here's the catch. Day-to-day, 1% is invisible. You can't feel it in a workout or a single page read. But small edges don't add. They multiply on top of each other, so the line bends upward and then rockets. The downside works the same way in reverse. Tiny slips you'd never notice compound into a slow collapse. So the question isn't whether you improve today. It's which curve you're quietly riding, and whether you can even see it yet. So what actually drives a habit? Clear describes a four-step chain. A cue triggers a craving. The craving motivates a response. The response delivers a reward. Watch it run. Your phone buzzes, that's the cue. You feel a pull to check it, the craving. You pick it up and scroll, the response. You catch a hit of something interesting, the reward. Simple enough. But here's the part that matters. The reward doesn't just feel good and end there. It teaches your brain that the cue was worth answering. The loop closes and the next buzz pulls harder. Every habit you own, good or bad, was carved by that same 4-beat groove running thousands of times. Which raises the real question, can you steer it? If that 4-step loop is the engine, the 4 laws are the controls. Each law rewires one link. Make it obvious, that targets the cue so the trigger is impossible to miss. Make it attractive, that fuels the craving so you actually want it. Make it easy, that shrinks the response so friction drops toward nothing. Make it satisfying, that sharpens the reward so your brain files it under do that again. Notice what's happening. These aren't 4 separate tips. They're 4 dials on the same machine, one per link in the cue, craving, response, reward chain. To build a habit, turn all 4 up. To break one, run them backwards. Hide the cue, dull the craving, add friction, strip the reward. So the theory is clean, but what makes a habit finally stick? Here's the shift most people miss. Clear argues lasting change isn't about the outcome, it's about identity. Chasing a target says, I want to run a marathon. An identity says, I am a runner. Same person, very different wiring. Why does that stick? Because every time you act, you cast a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. Lace up once and that's a single vote for runner. Do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the ballots pile up until the identity feels true. And a true identity defends itself. Outcome goals expire the moment you hit them or miss them. An identity keeps voting. That's the difference between someone who ran a race and someone who simply is a runner. But belief alone won't lace the shoes. What actually gets you moving? Now the practical tools, 1 per law. First, the 2-minute rule. Shrink a habit until it takes under 2 minutes. Read 1 page, put on the shoes. You master showing up before you master the thing. That makes the response easy. Second, environment design. Clear argues surroundings often beat motivation, so leave the water bottle out and hide the charger in another room. That makes the cue obvious. Third, habit stacking. After an existing habit, do the new one, borrowing a trigger you already fire. Fourth, tracking. X's on a calendar, so progress is visible and satisfying. And about the timelines, forget the 21-day miss. In a University College London study by Lally and colleagues, people reached automatic behavior in a median of about 66 days, ranging from 18 to 254. Each tool has a cost, though. Now the whole machine clicks. The 37 times doesn't come from one heroic push. It comes from small habits that run on autopilot, compounding while you barely notice. That's why systems beat goals and why environment beats willpower. The space around you fires the cue whether you feel motivated or not. Identity keeps the loop voting for itself. Coaches who teach this suggest 1 starter move today. Pick a habit and shrink it under 2 minutes. 1 page, 1 push-up. That's the first vote, and it's how the curve starts to bend. 1% daily, run through the cue, craving, response, reward loop, compounds to 37 times. That's the mechanism. Tell us the sub-2-minute habit you'd start with, and next we'll open the box on why streaks feel so hard to break.